I got involved with the union through my agent. He actually sent me an email about it, and he wanted anybody interested to contact the director directly. And so I wrote Tom Laughlin an email, and he wrote back like immediately saying, "Oh my gosh, you are the one that we want." So that was flattering. So after that, it was just a matter of trying to live up to the expectations, and hopefully I did.
Well, it's kind of funny. I got involved in the union. I mean, luckily for my job, my job, I work as the booking director for the Craze Talent Agency. Plug. Um, and I think at first I saw an email, kind of a blurb from you, from Tom the director, I should say, not from you. All right, Tom the director. I got an email blurb about it, that he was looking for actors for this new short that he's doing featuring vampires. Of course, it's always been a dream of mine to play a vampire, so I kind of just took it upon myself to not only say, hey, I'm the booking director, but also, hey, I'm an actor as well. And I decided, just like everybody else, I'll submit myself. And I think I submitted that a day, and literally the next day, Tom got a hold of me and he was like, we found our Vincent. And I'm just like, oh, thank you, because, I always get nervous, always submitting myself for things, but sometimes, I was just like, I felt this would be right. I really wanted to go for it, and I'm just going to put my name out there with everybody else, and bam, he found me.
So getting involved with the union was actually a little bit unique in that I was kind of on a downtime on as far as doing acting stuff. I was just starting a new job, just graduated from college. I was kind of almost done with acting. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna take a break. And I read before, I saw an email from the agency about this film, and I was reading the roles, and I was like, wow, that's a cool role. I should probably do it. But then it didn't quite. I never responded. It didn't happen. Then it was almost like by fate. I saw it came up again, and they still need that guy. And I was like, well, I got to do it now. So I called Tom Laughlin, and we ended up meeting up, and that was Lancaster from there.
Well, I studied theater in college, and before that, in high school, I was always really worried that I wasn't gonna know what to do in college. And then finally, my senior year, I just took a step back and realized that what I wanted to do was the things that I was already doing that was making me so happy. So I realized that I loved singing and dancing and acting and all that. So I decided to go into musical theater, and then after I graduated from college, I got into film acting.
Acting. Acting and we go way back. I've been acting since I was 10 years old. So I'm 25 now, so that's 15 years, and I'm still trying to make it. Still trying to, but success is all in the eye of the beholder. But I mean, I've done a lot. It started with me, luckily for my father. I owe my acting career to my father. He had his own production studio, and he would do a lot of educational films and stuff like that for his company. And, I guess I got started, and he was doing like a mock true life story, and he's like, well, let me put my son in it. And I just got into that, and I started enjoying it, and then I, did my first play when I was 10 years old, my 5th grade play. I played Johnny Appleseed with a little pot on my head and bag of seeds, and it's just from there it just kind of sprouted as something I really wanted to do, but I really didn't get into it, really into it, and actually start to think of it as a possible career choice until I got to high school. And I was a freshman in high school, and I tried out for the baseball team, and I auditioned for the musical. And I didn't make the baseball team, but I made the musical.
Michael's a great actor. He's actually not really that way in real life. um, he's a very nice person, and we had a great time together. Like, we really kind of bonded and got a lot of chances to talk and hang out, and that was great. And then, we get on set and he's screaming at me, I'm crying. So, it's nice to know at the end of the day that, you have a friend. But we have, I think, really different ways of working. acting methods, I guess, you know. And he was very meticulous about the script, you know, and wanted to view things from all angles, which, you know, I thought was great, because a lot of times, you know, things I don't really think of certain, you know, angles, or I don't know. I tend to just kind of let things make me feel a certain way, you know, and it was cool that he tried things so many different ways, because then I felt things so many different ways. So it was a good mesh of personalities and of acting styles.
So also preparing for the role of Lancaster, I watched several selections in film as far as what other actors did that would were in a similar position, and kind of took the high points from each of their roles. As far as one role, he may have been like a bodyguard or professional or a military guy. In another role, he may have been like this kind of ancient knight or something. And then they each had certain parts from each of their roles that I wanted to incorporate into Lancaster.
You know, again, you're taking a genre that is done quite a bit, and there's a lot as an actor. There's a lot to work with, and just seeing the other genres and the other films and the other types of vampire films that are made. So I mean, not necessarily for every role, but for this role in particular, you kind of want to stay with the formula. You know, vampires are very sexy. They're very smooth. They're very, you know, beautiful creatures. I don't know if you want to call them creatures, but they are. And so you almost, you know, as an actor, you know, in preparing for this role, I want to kind of view other possible films and other genres and other actors and their works, and kind of just use them as inspirations to blend into your own. I think, you know, lucky for me, I'm very attracted to playing villains. I tend to be a very nice guy in real life, but for some reason, just villains, I think, attract me the most as characters to play, because there is no set formula. So in preparing for this role, it was a lot of like, if I don't just stop for the night and just forget about it, I'm going to drive myself crazy. Because I was like, oh, this will work. And I would start doing this line this way. And I was like, well, no, maybe I want to yell here. And I started yelling here. And I was like, no, well, maybe I'll yell here and kind of go down here. No, well, yeah, that works. Okay, it was a lot of like, seriously, it was a lot of like looking at my script, making notes, and going, a day later going, oh, this works now. And then forgetting what I had accomplished the day before, and then coming to something brand new, because there's just no particular formula in playing a villain. So I kind of just had to. I know Tom, director Tom, I like to call him. The director kind of was like, okay, you drive me crazy because you've got to come to one certain way to do this character, because if you keep changing things, I'm never going to know what works and what doesn't work. But then I'm like, because then I would try something, and then I'd go home and review it again, and that would work, and then I'd bring it to the next rehearsal, and he'd be like, well, what happened to this? I'm like, oh, I like this better. And he's like, come to a consensus on this role. It works. Let's do it,